We're now recording the video. Okay, here we go. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 802. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. Visit my YouTube page at youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS. That's where you're going to get all the videos, and please click subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call, robust remote support for IT pros and MSP. They provide unattended and on-demand remote access. Try it free by clicking on the link on my website at miketechshow.com. Use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial. You can also go directly to instanthousecall.com. This show is also brought to you by MagnusBox. They will be launching their new data center very, very soon that's in Las Vegas. What is MagnusBox? This is the perfect online backup that's HIPAA compliant, that you can put all your clients' workstations and servers. If you need online backup, you can easily become a partner. They revamped the free trial and how they demo everything to you. You get all of the access that the paying partners get. So you can go directly to magnusbox.com, kick the tires, check it out. If you mention the Mike Tech Show, you will get 50% off your platform fee for your first 3 months. Go to magnusbox.com. Also, please update your Amazon links. In August, my Amazon link changed, and it's now just supporting the Mike Tech Show and myself. Please use the link. Do all your holiday shopping early. Get that out of the way now so you don't have to worry about any shipping problems or getting your gifts. When you click on that link and use it and put things in your cart, a small percentage comes back and helps me, but your price stays the same. So check out my Amazon link. I really appreciate you using it. Please share it, bookmark it. Thank you so much. So this is take 2 on this show. I didn't record the video, and I was unhappy. So I'm recording this again. It's Saturday, and the reason I'm doing this on Saturday because last week I attended the ASCII Success Summit in Orlando. Left on Tuesday and attended Wednesday and Thursday, came back Thursday night. That's why I couldn't do the show on Thursday. And I need to thank Marvin B., the host of Podnuts Pro, who encouraged me to attend this. Knowing that I'm going to be in Florida during this time, it was great, and I'm glad. So a lot of you are like, what's ASCII? Is that the same ASCII? Yes, it is. And you can go to ascii.com to learn more. In a summary, the ASCII group brings IT service providers, managed service providers, managed security service providers. It's a lot of alphabet soup there. And cloud providers of all shapes and sizes together with a common goal of helping each other achieve success, growing your business, doing it right. I get it. That's a great core mantra for ASCII, and I will, over the next few minutes, talk about the summit and tell you why I think you should consider looking at this organization, because I did get some things out of attending. So let's begin. The first presenter was an MSP that got hit from the Kaseya breach. Their entire list of clients got encrypted. 450 workstations, 60 servers. It took them 45 days to finally get everybody completely restored. They spent over $300,000 in extra labor that they ate. I would have liked to hear more of that, which, how did they cover that? How did they stay in business? That's unbelievable. So what are the takeaways? And this is something I currently do. Have passwords printed out and stored in a fireproof, secure safe. This is a must because hardware, when it all gets encrypted, it's great if you have all your files, there with all the passwords, but if you can't get to them, you're no good. They also totally reevaluated their stack. And what that means is they're looking at everything that they offer. What is their security stack and how they protect everything? How do they back up everything? They completely reevaluated everything for the company. But getting back to the paper, that also goes hand in hand with disaster recovery. You must have a disaster recovery plan for your client. It has to be physical paper printed out and put in a secure box. Maybe it's a safety deposit box. Maybe it's just a fireproof safe at the owner's home. You need not only all of the passwords, and that means you got to update this every quarter. Maybe that's too long. You might want to even look at this as every month, but I know that could be too much work. At least every quarter, you should update all of this. It's not only passwords, critical license numbers, phone numbers, and account numbers for not only all their utilities, but anybody that they work with. Everything. There should also be an extra stack of blank checks. There are a lot of things when you have a disaster that you need to have in order to have your business continuity and keep running. So you have to treat this breach as a disaster. And so the only way to mitigate that and help you is to have some things on paper. And that was one of their most difficult challenges during this, because they didn't have paper on all the clients. And that was something that they were changing. So I thought that was a really good takeaway of the breach. I would have liked more takeaways. That just didn't happen. And I can understand that because they can only give away so much information. And it was gutsy for the MSP to just stand up there and talk about this because this was very difficult. So the 2 days can be summarized by one word: cybersecurity. That was the biggest theme throughout all the presentations and many, many vendors that offered security products. And one of them is Socksuter, SOCSOTER. Security vendor, comprehensive cybersecurity. My takeaway was to ask 3 questions of your potential client in front of you. And that's what I want to share. Asking, as a business owner, what keeps you up at night? Now, that's something I actually ask as part of my first meeting with a client. How do you currently resolve IT issues? You're going to learn a lot. Do they call their current IT provider and he takes 3 days to get back to them? You're going to... I've shared this story, I think, before. I was introduced from a CPA to another CPA. And the CPA that I'm being introduced to says, "Oh my God, I don't, another IT provider, I've been through 4 of them. Nobody is available on weekends during tax season to be able to help me." I walked up to him, extended my hand, this is pre-pandemic, and said, I'm Michael Smith, owner of MHS Consulting. I am your last IT guy because I will be there for you on weekends. And I'll never forget the first weekend he called me. And he said, I am your client for life. And that is because I took care of one of the pain points. You must identify that and then make sure you're the solution to it. So how do you currently resolve IT issues and you be ready to answer? And then here's a question I've never asked. What is your cyber resilience strategy? I bet you half the people have no clue what you're talking about. So go in there and talk about, is it a medical office? You start talking about your HIPAA compliance, law firms, financial advisors, manufacturing. Right now, they are your biggest that have to rely on sound cybersecurity strategies to which you're the answer. So I thought that was really good. Next presentation, Nerdio. I like this because one of the challenges of Microsoft Azure is there's three things that they brought up that I fear as a small MSP. It's expensive, it's complex, and it's risky. Because if you implement this wrong, you're done. Or if you don't pick the right options, it's going to be cost prohibitive and kill you. They will hold your hand and work with you with Microsoft Azure. So it's nice, even though I am not embracing it now, today, for one of my products for clients, it is absolutely something that I know is down the road. Microsoft Azure is growing by 50% every year. So that's why it's time that we pay attention to Microsoft Azure where it makes sense. One of the things, if you are buying, I thought this was very good. Always choose the 36-month reservation. Now, there's supposed to be a penalty if you get out before that. Microsoft never collects on it. Now, that we don't know if that's going to continue, but that was a nice tip by Nerdio. But it's nice having these vendors having information on them kind of in your back pocket if you need the help. So, rapid fire tools. This company helps you with the life cycle of your client. So what is that life cycle? I like this because it's a nice way of organizing it. The security gap analysis gets you in the door. So now you acquire them and you close the deal. You now have to onboard them. Then you go through an optimization process. Now, we all do this in some way in this order. You know, we optimize, we're tuning the systems, making sure the updates are happening, making sure we're solving their problems. Then expansion stage. Ooh, time to upgrade Office, time to upgrade your work. You know, we look for ways to upgrade and make more money from the client. Then there's the renewal stage where you got to prove you were reliable and that they should renew with you. Or maybe with my clients, it's a continuous renewal. So this company's there to help you through that process. Now, right now, I'm not big enough to need that kind of help, but that's something that you might need to take a look at. And if not, then I just helped you with organizing what is the process that you have for each client. CAB, this is another vendor that offers competition with cloud as a business, competing with Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Only they say they're more affordable and faster. So worth a look at when you're looking into maybe some AWS services or Microsoft Azure. Take a look at CAB. Then there was a MSP peer session where an ASCII member was talking about how to grow the business and how he's grown his business, and they're now a national company. And one of the things finding good IT talent. That's one of the most difficult challenges. Like if I want to grow MHS Consulting, my business, just finding reliable IT talent. One of the things he did reveal was they take a long time for that process, that interview process. Now you can lose some good people if you take too long, but they know what each employee likes, and they make sure to keep feeding that. And the key is retaining the talent. As slow as they are to onboard new employees, they're very quick, if it's not working out, to fire. I thought that was very, very interesting. Another product that I want to talk about, Mail Protector. This is something I'm interested in looking at their options in their portfolio. They say they can split domain hosting for email. How do you split an MX record? I mean, you can add all the text records you want, but email goes by MX records. I would love to know how they split that. There must be servers that they host where you've changed the MX records and go to them, and then they have the secret sauce to split. I don't know, but it's something I want to learn. How can you have a secure email gateway, inbound, outbound, for Microsoft Office 365 and not have to change the MX records? Again, they have what they call bracket encryption, which I like this, and I do this with Proofpoint now, but not every word. We use the word, you bracket the word encrypt in the subject line, and then it's automatically going to be encrypted. Anything in brackets on the subject line automatically means that's it. It's going out. It's encrypted. So, encryption as a service. Very interesting. Brackets for Office 365 with no MX changes. These are things I want to hear that I have clients that we could possibly look into this. All right, CryptoStopper. This was one of those companies that they talked a whole lot about stopping everything being encrypted. Well, how do they do it? Is it just what? I don't want their secret sauce. I don't want them to reveal anything, but they didn't talk about how they do it. Well, what they do, they put a honeypot in each system that attracts the bad actors. Now, when I did this show before, about an hour ago, but I didn't hit the record button for the video, and I'm redoing it, I described that from a vendor as Threat Locker. I've since looked at my notes, and it's CryptoStopper that does that. Threat Locker is another security vendor. Let me tell you, there were a lot. Here's one, Duo. Now, I've read a lot about Duo. It's for multi-factor authentication. That's interesting. So Duo, you can roll out for anything that you want to do, and you want to deploy MFA. Duo is a very inexpensive service. So they also have some free services that you can check out. I'm already a little bit familiar with Duo, but that was nice hearing from them. So GSM, a big acquisition by SureWeb. And one of the nice things, I got to meet with someone from SureWeb on Thursday, sat at the table with me in the morning, and it was nice talking with them, asking them a bunch of questions. One of my biggest problems, they've had some turnover for their account management team, and I haven't talked to my account manager in a while, so they're connecting me up and already have, which is nice, with my SureWeb account manager, because there are more SureWeb offerings, and they didn't get into this there at the summit, but it was nice meeting with them both in the vendor hall and sitting at my table, asking different questions on possibly growing my product offering that I currently offer for my clients and taking a look. Something else, I'm still trying to vet the perfect VoIP vendor. So met with 2 VoIP vendors and got their information. Met with PAX 8. They are, I guess, a distributor, a way for you to purchase software and products to make it easier for you to resell. And I could definitely make more money selling Office 365 through PAX 8. But now I'm an advisor of SureWeb, and I sell Office 365 through them. But as a partner, I have a chance of making more money. So I'm going to look at SureWeb versus PAX 8 for just Office 365 and see what happens there. One vendor I couldn't wait to meet with in the vendor hall, where we had a 2-hour lunch and availability on Thursday to visit vendors at their table. Carbon Systems. They have tremendous some laptops that I was looking at. They were light, fast. It was great, but the prices were too high. I said, you got to leave some meat on the bone. There was no room to make some money. But he has the small Intel Nook device, all Intel, very small, very powerful unit. They will deal with images, meaning I could buy one, get it set up with the image, upload the image, and they can use that for all my purchases. Especially, I have a dental office that in the first quarter of 2022, they will be going to a new facility, and I will have to buy 30 of those computers. That's going to be perfect. And meeting and connecting with a vendor for that, amazing. That's exactly what I want. And that was a nice connection. There are too many to do in the short time I have. And I wanted to leave some time. Oh, you know what? Before I talk about the keynote and my thoughts on that, I met with Acronis. And interesting, Acronis, I've always only used it as a residential, home system. I have a couple of my computers here. I may have 1 or 2 clients that have Acronis. I use Acronis all the time for cloning, but I don't use it for the backup and everything else. And there's all kinds of things that you can, there's security. So I'm going to look at what they offer for MSPs. So I don't know. I will, keep you advised on that. I mean, now I've set myself up because there's so many business cards for me out there. I'm going to start to begin the overwhelming crush of being contacted. And I've already have my list of companies that I will give time. I'm going to plan. I don't want to abuse it, like maybe 3 hours a week. So like 3 companies a week I will do something with, going forward. So one of the things that I loved was the keynote presentation from Mike Michalowicz, the author of Fix This Next. And he is also the author of The Pumpkin Plan, Profit First. There's a couple other books, but I love The Pumpkin Plan. And I think that is required reading as a business owner, because you want to keep your prized pumpkin and you want to keep duplicating that. And sometimes the little pumpkins that you're growing, they're getting in the way. You need to cut them loose. So that, for me, is very, very important. And what I would like you to do is definitely make that your next book if you haven't read it. Then there's Profit First. Profit First is very simple. When you get the checks coming in, take a portion for profit that you've already worked out, whatever percentage that is going to be, and put it away and put it in a bank, an account that is difficult to get to. Maybe you don't do anything electronic with it. You only walk in and deposit it, and the only way to get money, don't have any cards associated with it. Make it difficult to access. But you got to take that profit out first. The reason I'm reviewing these is because this book is, okay, you're doing those two things. What do you fix next? So there is a pyramid, and we begin at the bottom of the pyramid, and there's 5 layers. Sales. If you have your sales, great. We move on to the next step, profit. Here's the thing. If you don't have sales, well, you got to get sales. So you have to take care of that first. So you got your sales. Profit. Well, there you go. Profit first. Use that to take your profit. And that's now the stability. Sales is cash. You got stability for profit. So here's the hard part. Efficiency. Order. One of the things that I am now looking at for my business is they mention for this step, can you walk away from your company for a month? I can't. My company might close up after I can't do that. So why can't I? So this is going to be one of the next things I'm going to work on. I got to automate more and make it easier for my son to not only automate, but there are things that I'm doing that I need to make sure he's trained, or anybody else that's helping us with the business, they have to be trained on that topic. So I'm outlining topics now that I got to make sure I'm addressing with my son. So this way, if something happened and I was away from the business for a while and he didn't have access to me, would be able to keep going. So if you can't go away for a month, that's something you need to fix. I thought that was a great question that I got to point back at myself. He goes over a story that I know I'm going to butcher, but his case study that a major university, their applications were going down, and they were trying to figure out why. And they found that the curb appeal of the university, the lawn care, all of the grounds were not good. We're not as good as they could be. So what was causing that? And working with the employees, working with the lawn care staff, they came to a realization of why everything's not looking good and why it takes so long. The tree branches on the lower rim of the trees were preventing the automated mowers, the mowers that they drive, to be able to go under the tree. So cutting back the branches and making it they can go under was now solving a problem where they would have to stop and manually cut that, which didn't make it look as nice. Applications started going back up. It's very interesting that it's something when you enter into what you're going to be fixing, you're not sure what it's going to be. And it's going to come from outside the box possibly. It's going to be something unexpected that you didn't realize. That's, to me, very, very important. And you have to get, I was going to say lucky, but no. You have to make sure that you're going to identify them. If you're at this point, let's say point A, and you want to get to point B, well, all the things you're trying to fix and do better be in the direction of point B, or you're not going to get there. So you have to evaluate, what are you going to do next? And right on the cover, we list the steps. And I love this for the outline. 1, identify unresolved core needs at each of these levels. And the last 2 levels are transformation, which is impact, and legacy, permanence. So the last 2 are giving. The first 3 is getting to your company. So step 1, you identify unresolved core needs at each level. 2, pinpoint the foundational vital need. Fulfill the vital need, step 3. And step 4, find and fix again. And keep that cycle going, fixing this next. So I love the way Mike thinks. I'm going to have links to those books in the show notes for today's show. And it is something that every business owner needs to take a look. I guarantee if you read those books or even buy the audio books and listen to it, you're going to get something out of it. There's going to be a nugget that's going to help you maybe go to the next step. Maybe you're struggling and there's something you need. This is why summits like this exist. You're with your peers. I was with my peers. I met 2 listeners at the summit, which was great. Had a good time. Got a lot out of everything. Sure, some of the sessions were boring. A lesson: please don't be death by PowerPoint when you're presenting. Don't do it. Make sure that you're interesting enough and entertaining enough. And if you're not, then you go get someone that is. Because you don't want to be associated with a boring presentation. And that, I would have to think, was... I'm shocked at some of the size of the companies that are there. They had some boring presentations. So that you want to nod off, or you start talking to the person beside you. I try never to be that. If anybody's ever heard me speak, I will engage. I will walk the room. You are not falling asleep when I'm speaking, and I make sure of it, no matter what the topic is. And I love presenting. Ergo, I'm on show 802 here and love doing it. So I hope for those who weren't there at the summit, maybe you get a little nuggets out of here that help you with your business. And that's what this is about, trying to get you to succeed. Or maybe it's not your business. You're part of another business. You're a cog, and you're in an IT department at another company. There are things here that you can certainly apply internally to your organization. And that is critical. Take this, just like everything that Mike Michalowicz talks about can be applied to any business. I mean, I'm just pointing the finger using it for IT. But it can be any business. And it's these simple core strategies that you want to take away and do your best at trying to implement. And that's what I'm trying to do as I'm growing my business, as I'm trying to do. I am obviously working on it because I'm spending time in Florida. Now, I'm still working every day. As a matter of fact, there were Wednesday, I had more interruptions than I did on Thursday. That's because my son was on a project, actually two clients. So he was just out of pocket all day. I had to take that overflow where calls were coming in, and I would have to get up and go out to the hallway and do to a point where I even missed a couple hours at the end of Wednesday because I went back to my room and I was able to solve the problems, getting on the internet, getting on my Surface Pro, and was able to log in and take care of it. That it's important to be able to take care of everybody, but it's how you're doing it. And I'm looking for ways to streamline that. How do we make this easier? How do I go to the next level, remain profitable, maybe even make more money, but be successful in solving everybody's problems? And these are the challenges with any growth in any organization. So I hope I brought some insights and maybe some vendors. I still have to spend some time really putting together the show notes with the different vendors I mentioned. I will make sure I have links to them. That is it. please remember to use my Amazon link for all your purchases and help support the show. I really appreciate that. Instant House Call for all your remote access needs, all of your online backup needs, Magnus Box, and let us not forget Fabs Auto Backup Pro. If you need to move any data or settings from one system to another, Fabs is it. And you can get that from the link in the show notes. That is it for today. I will be back this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the next Mike Tech Show. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy Halloween for tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody. All right.